Well, welcome to this week's edition of the Don't Argue with the great man himself in Kurt Gidley. And kids, you are looking absolutely magnificent as always, mate.
Mate, likewise, Matty. Mate. Another huge week of footy. Geez, there was some upsets, mate, last week, which I thought, no good for my tipping, but, mate, great for the competition. Great to see a few underdogs, mate, get up and a few of the top teams get knocked off. So, yeah, a pretty exciting weekend and mate, the top teams keep powering on and the rest of the comp is pretty congested.
Mate, the Broncos obviously defeating the Sharks. That was one of those upsets. Panthers easily over the Titans. Rabbitohs easily over the Manly Seagulls. They're just going at the moment for mine. The Warriors, 1-point victors over the Raiders. That was a good victory, wasn't it?
Mate, great victory, especially on the back of them getting touched up by 70 in Melbourne the week before. Like, there was some question marks. I watched Brownie's press conference, which he was pretty devastated the way the game finished off and the words of embarrassment and, disappointed and, whether there was going to be changes in the team. But they turned it around. That's, a big effort to turn it around on the back of 70 points scored against you and pretty demoralising. But, yeah, done well there.
Hey, what about the Bulldogs upsetting the Roosters? That was the big one for the weekend for mine. Back-to-back losses, too, for the Roosters. Where are they at, kids?
Yeah, a bit of soul searching there. It's pretty rare that they actually would find themselves with back-to-back losses and, they're not where they want to be. The players are talking about that. Robbo's spoken about, what his role is at the moment within the team and that he's going to try and get his halves working together and work into the game plan that they expect of their players. But it's across the board. They're just not clicking at the moment. They need to work harder and I'm sure we'll probably see a response, mate, from them this week. But certainly, mate, also my beloved Knights team have gone down again on the back of a fair touch-up by the Storm. And, the Storm, I think, have scored 120-odd points in 2 weeks. And my old Newcastle Knights, mate, have been on the back of a couple of 39 points and then 50 points.
We're going to get to your Newcastle Knights, mate, in the bunker review. And it is all thanks to Palmerbet too. Gamble responsibly. Get involved. They download the app. They do a magnificent job. But the other big upset I thought was the Cowboys defeating the Parramatta Eels. That was a demolition job, 35-4. I didn't see that coming, kids.
Mate, I think the Eels have beaten them every time they played up in Darwin too. So, they obviously liked playing up there. Didn't mind the heat and the humidity previously. But, yeah, geez, that was a massive surprise. And the biggest surprise, I was having a couple of cold ones watching the post-game
That's not a surprise. That is not a surprise.
They're paying about $1, that is. But I tell you, when it flashed up, they were coming third. It blew me away. Like, they were under pressure and there was a few question marks when they started the year and got beat by the Dogs, and all of a sudden they're in third. So, well done.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Hey, listen, let's go to the bunker review and have a look at some of the key points coming out of round number 8. Panthers and the Storm. They seem like they're streets ahead of the rest of the field at the moment. In your eyes, kids, right now as it stands, are you in the Panthers corner or are you in my mighty Melbourne Storm corner?
Oh, mate, that's a tough one. That one, really, really tough one. I mean, Penrith are so clinical. They seem to have kept the majority of their players on the park week in, week out. But, mate, how can you go sort of past the Storm as well? Like, they've put 120 points on in 2 weeks, and they're just so well drilled. And they didn't have one change in their team from the Warriors game to this week, which is pretty rare. Those two top teams, Penrith and Melbourne, seem to keep the majority of their players on the park consistently. So, yeah, they're definitely the two front runners at the moment, that's for sure.
Panthers $2.90 for the premiership. Storm $3.40, all thanks to Palmerbet. Juicy odds, just got to pick the right one, I reckon, for mine. I reckon the premiership winner is going to come out of one of them too. I can't see anyone else coming, kids.
No, I can't see anyone else coming at the moment. I mean, yeah, they're definitely streets ahead of even, the Cows, Sharks and Eels there on 10 points. But then look at the comp behind that. There's the Rabbits, Roosters, Eagles, Broncos, Dragons, Warriors, all on 8. And then at the bottom there, we've got Titans, Tigers, Raiders, Bulldogs and Knights all on 4. So, mate, she's game on at the back end of the bottom of the table there. But those two top teams well clear.
What about your Newcastle Knights, kids? Now, this does not stack up very well, mate. They've conceded 89 points in their last 2 games, and they've scored just 4 points. How the hell do they get their season back on track? And do they need the big Gidsmeister to get down there and just give them a little bit of a fire up, big fella? What are you going to do?
Oh, mate, look, really, really tough spot. And, I've been there before, when you're on the back of, I think there's 6 losses in a row now. They've only scored 2 penalty goals in the last 2 weeks, and their defence just hasn't been up to scratch. It's not at the standards that they set during the off-season, and it's at a real low point at the moment. And they're going to North Queensland this week, and North Queensland are at a real high. They've got plenty of belief and plenty of confidence at the moment. So the only way to dig out of it is to work really hard, hold yourself and everyone else accountable in those video sessions, and get back to what works.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Now, what about the race for the 8? 6 teams currently on 8 points. The Rabbits, Manly, Roosters, Broncos, Dragons, Warriors. Which team do you think out of that is going to keep pace with the 8 in your eyes, do you reckon, mate? Or who do you think might drop off, Gids?
Drop off. I mean, the Dragons have got to show, consistency, not week in, week out, and also over a full season. So they're probably one that have fallen out of the 8 at different times over the last few years. I still expect the Roosters to fire at some stage and be consistent. The Rabbitohs, Manly have been, they've been hit and miss this year. They're probably not up to what up to the scratch where they've been. I've seen Jake Trbojevic having a fair old chat with his team after the game, after that loss on the weekend, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. It's great to see that passion from him, but they definitely haven't been consistently at their best week in, week out. So I'm not unsure about the Dragons. I'm unsure about the Warriors have been in the 8. I think Roosters, Rabbitohs, Manly will probably be there.
Right, let's have a look at this weekend's round 9 of matches in the NRL. All thanks to Palmer Bet. Gamble responsibly. Get involved. Download the app. Do all that kind of stuff, but do it responsibly. First game Thursday night. No, I keep banging on about it, but geez, I love Thursday night footy. I love sitting back and watching these games as well, kids. Rabbitohs taking on the Broncos. The Core Stadium, $7.50. Rabbitohs, $1.32. Broncos, $3.42. At the line, the Rabbits, minus 8.5 at $1.90. Key stats. Broncos won the opening round clash 11-4, which was probably a bit of an upset at the time. And all of South's wins this year have been by 12 plus. So they've been a little bit inconsistent, haven't they?
Yeah, a little bit inconsistent. I mean, that's reflecting on that Broncos win there where they beat them early in the year, round 1, I think it was. So they'll take some confidence to that. They'll know what worked during that game. I mean, it was a low-scoring game, but I think the Broncos will review what worked during that game and how they got what the process was to get a win. Both coming off a win, so they'll both be, pretty confident. I think the Rabbits are pretty short. $1.32 head-to-head. Like, that's pretty short.
You wouldn't be taking it, would you, kids?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't
Not
be
with
taking
confidence, anyway.
No, and the Broncos, $3.42. It's pretty good value, I think, head-to-head. But, look, I'm going to lean towards the Rabbits on this one at home. At Core Stadium, I'm going to go the Rabbits minus 8.5 start.
$1.90, mate. Nice little odds, W money, effectively. Raiders taking on the Bulldogs Friday night. Raiders would have been disappointed with a loss last week to the Warriors. GIA Stadium, head-to-head, $1.71 the Raiders. Bulldogs, $2.15. At the line, the Raiders minus 2.5 at $1.95. Raiders have won their last 5 straight against the Bulldogs. Both teams have not scored more than 24 points this year. That is an amazing stat.
Yeah, I can't get this one because, I mean, the Raiders, again, I just think they're struggling. Sticky was pretty emotional. He was, pretty upset during that press conference. He said he'd mentioned something about if we've got any fans left. He feels sorry for them and apologises and he's embarrassed. So,
letting them down.
He's a passionate coach, Sticky, but I think, and I'm pretty sure Jack Whiten's going to be out with a spear tackle there that he copped on the weekend. I know he's getting charged for it. So, he's a bloody competitor, Jack White. And if they lose him, it's just another blow. So, mate, I'm going to go for the Bulldogs. I just think they're confident. We've seen what happened with the West Tigers and the Dragons off the back of a win after they'd been facing some adversity and pressure. So I think the Dogs will carry that momentum into this week.
Oh, I tell you what, going to be a really interesting game, that one. Next match, Panthers v. the Eels. Another Friday night football game, 7:59, Panthers Stadium. Panthers $1.23, Eels are $4.20. At the line, the Panthers minus 12.5, $1.85. Panthers get the job done, mate. They're just a professional outlet. And $1.23, it's a luxury from Palmerbet, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Eels were disappointing. There's no doubt about that last week. They looked lethargic. They looked a bit worn out, even before the game or at the start of the game. So Cowboys blew them off the park. But again, I do watch those press conferences to see what the captains and the coach respond to, and they were just flat. They just didn't come out with enough energy, and they maybe underestimated the Cowboys there last week. But Panthers are just so clinical. I can't go past them. I'm going to go minus the start though, just to get a bit more value there, Matty, for $1.85, minus 12.5.
Beautiful, mate. You're always looking for value for the punters, Gids. That is for sure. Saturday afternoon, Sea Eagles taking on the Tigers, the West Tigers. I've got a little soft spot, that, Gids, for the West Tigers. They went down last week. They couldn't make it 3 on the trot. Sea Eagles $1.25. Tigers are $4. At the line, Sea Eagles minus 12.5, $1.95. Manly have scored 40 plus in the last couple of games against the Tigers. Cherry Evans has scored 4 tries in the last 2 games via the Tigers. What are you thinking here, Gids?
Well, I think that's pretty good value, the Tigers, to be honest, at $4. I mean, they competed last week in that loss against the Dragons. They only got beat 12-6, and they were still a chance of trying to level that up right towards the end of the bell.
And the Dragons' form's been solid too. It's been all right.
Yeah. So I thought that was a fair game there last week. So, yeah, Tigers disappointing. Just went down in that game. So I think they'll still take some confidence and belief out of that game into this one. And again, it's a hard one to pick the Eagles week in, week out to start the year.
Been disappointing for mine, haven't they, Manly? Really disappointing.
Yeah, I think so. And you just don't know what you're going to get. Some days, we think they're up, and maybe that little speech at the end of the game from Jake Trbojevic will just resonate with the playing group throughout the week. And by the time they return home at Brookie, they might just that might be enough to get them over the line. So. Yeah, minus 12.5. They're $1.95. Potentially may go for Cherry Evans anytime try scorer. He scored 4 tries in the last 2 games against the Tigers. So
love it.
Check that one out.
Absolutely love it. What about this one? Saturday afternoon or Saturday night, 5:30, BB Print Stadium. Roosters taking on the Gold Coast Titans. Roosters head-to-head $1.30. I can't believe it. Titans $3.56. At the line, the Roosters minus 9.5, $1.90. The Roosters, though, have won their last 6 straight against the Titans. That's a telling stat, and they're on the rebound. They've lost the last couple. They need to bounce back in a big way, kids.
Yeah, they do, mate. They do. It's sort of uncharted territory, really, for the Roosters. I mean, I think there was most commentators and pundits out there probably putting Roosters in top 4, before the season kicked off.
Yeah.
They're a little bit the old word clunky, mate. At the moment is the fashion word for teams who aren't quite putting it together. But I'm definitely on the Roosters here. I can see them responding to the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to go the Roosters, mate, minus the start, minus 9.5 start, $1.90. And mate, I think the 2 teams that have been underachieving and probably under the expectations of everyone out there, my team, the Knights and the Titans, both those teams made the top 8 last year, and both have really struggled for consistent form this year.
Let's move on to the next game, Gids. It's up at Queensland, of course, Country Bank Stadium. It's the Cowboys coming up against your mob, the Knights, Gids. Can they give us anything? It's a tough road trip to go up and take on the Cowboys. They're in good nick, coming off a cracking victory against the Eels last week. Head-to-head $1.27. The Cowboys. Knights are $3.81. At the line, the Cowboys minus 12.5 $1.93. Split the games last year. Cowboys have won their last 3. Knights have lost 6 straight. Gids, how do they turn it around? And is this the weekend they do turn it around?
Well, geez, it's going to be a big effort for the Knights boys to turn it around this week up at the Queensland Country Bank Stadium. I must say I didn't like the look of Taumalola, the way he was playing bigger minutes and carrying the ball there last week. That's always a worry. I prefer him if I was the Newcastle Knights boys. I'd like Todd Payton to be resting him on the bench like he was last year. So kind of a little bit of a worry, mate. They're in a pretty good headspace at the moment, the Cowboys, and off the back of that win against the Eels last week, they'll be super, super confident. Top 3 team at the moment, and going to be really, really tough to beat up there. So, geez, the Knights 381. You can have a small wage on it.
Yeah, take it, mate. Take it and run, I reckon. Hey, Sunday, 2 p.m, Amy Park in Melbourne, of course. Melbourne Storm taking on the Dragons. Dragons are going all right at the moment. Don't worry about that. They're just getting the job done. But the Storm, $1.05. Dragons, $10.20. Storm at the line because they are just smashing sides at the moment. It's minus 21.5 at $1.84. $1.85, I should say. Storm won their last clash by 26 points. They are in sensational nick at the moment, aren't they, Craig Bellamy's boys?
Mate, sensational. As I say, they've got the nucleus of their team week in, week out. They're all super players. Pappenhausen at the back is flying as he always is. Justin Olam, mate, like PNG boy, mate, he's super, super strong. Like he scored a try from nothing last week where he brushed about 4 Knights defenders to score. So he is a bloody big test for any
He's
right
the real deal, isn't he? He's the real deal, mate. He's
sure.
a pin-up boy, isn't he? He's a star.
Yeah, mate. He's super strong and he's aggressive defensively, but he's actually got really soft hands to where he uses his winger to put him over. So, he's a great player to watch and awesome to see his development in the game and be one of the top centres in the NRL.
Come on, mate. Is he pushing? Is he pushing for a blue spot? Come on, Gids.
Well, I don't know. I don't know who's he aligned with. I'm not sure about whether he can play for New South Wales, whether he wants to, or whether he's going to stick with his home country, PNG, when those representative teams come along. So, but getting back to the game, I'll take the Storm here minus the start. So, minus 21.5 start, $1.85. I think they're too strong. The Storm, they're an absolute high, and Craig Bellamy just keeps driving the high standards, make sure no one's complacent. So.
Nearly the best coach going ever, I reckon, is Craig Bellamy. To do what he's done at that club and keep him up for such a long period of time, mate, not easy to do. And he just has done it year on, year out. It's just phenomenal. Yeah,
I'd say, mate, the best coach in the game ever, my point of view.
Love it, kids. What about the final game on Sunday? Sharks taking on the Warriors. Warriors, great victory last week. Sharks a tad disappointing. They're going to come out fired up. They're $1.19, all thanks to Palmerbet. Warriors at $4.80. At the line, the Sharks minus 13.5, $1.90. Key stats, split the games last year. Sharks' last 4 wins have been by 12 plus, but they were disappointing last week against the Broncos. Do they bounce back and get the job done against the Warriors?
Well, I think they bounced back, mate, and the reason why they haven't lost 2 games in a row this year, the Sharks, from what I've just had a look at. So I think they bounce back. They're a resilient team. They're back at Shark Park, which they love playing at. They get a great turnout of fans there. So, expecting the Sharks to bounce back, and I'm going to go for the Sharkies. I'm going to go Sharkies minus the start again. I want a bit of value there. $1.90 minus 13.5. I just think we haven't seen enough for the resilience from the Warriors week in, week out defensively. So I'm definitely going with the Sharkies on this one.
Mate, you are all over getting value for the punters, Gids. That's what we like at Palmerbet, big fella. We want to get a little bit of value. We just don't want to just take all the faves all the time. So you're always looking for that value. And the boys at Palmerbet are always looking for the value for the customer as well. So
absolutely.
Great organisation, Gids. Gamble responsibly, of course, as we always say.
100%, mate. 100%. Gamble responsibly, mate. We've got a couple of last ones just to run through, though, Matty. Gids' best value, Gids' best bet.
Come on, mate. What do you got for us? Come on.
I'm going to go best value. I like the Roosters minus that start, which is $1.90. So I'm going to roll with that one, mate. I think we'll see a really good response from them this week. They've got too many class players and leaders within their team and origin players and international players for them to go 3 losses in a row. So I think a huge response from them this week. And also, mate, the Bulldogs as the outsider. I think head-to-head, $2.15, and I like that one against the Raiders.
Righto, love it, mate. Value all round from Gids. You getting to any games this week, mate? Are you going to head along anywhere?
Mate, I'm off this week. The Knights boys are up in Townsville, which I normally work every home game, but then Magic Round, mate, next week. So all teams back in Brizzy, which is a fantastic round. I played in the Magic round, which started in the UK in the Super League.
Awesome.
It was awesome, and it was that's where the NRL got that concept from.
Yep.
They done it really well over there in the Super League. We played at St James Park, Newcastle United soccer ground. So
you would have been rock and rolling there, mate.
Oh, mate, they don't muck around. The English supporters, they chant, they scream, they get stuck into the opposition supporters, and mate, they know how to sing a song and create an atmosphere. So yeah, it's great to see the NRL do that up in Brizzy. I mean, Suncorp's a wonderful stadium, and it's a great weekend. So that's on next week, but we'll get through this week first, mate.
Yeah, kids, love your work, mate. Great to catch up as always. Jump on board. The boys at Palmer Bet, they got plenty of offers, plenty of deals on there. You just got to get in and have a look for yourself. Download the app, gamble responsibly, get involved. And kids, see you at the rugby this weekend, mate. Looking forward to a big round 9 action.
Absolutely, Matty. See you all. Have a great weekend.